Alright. You know what? Let's start things off with Nick. And we're gonna look at Simo. We will start our reacts off with Simo from Nick. I know everybody has been asking me to watch this one. So yes, we are going to watch Simo. I've wanted to watch this video. I just wanted to give it a couple days to cook. You know how it's, with like Nick and Scott and all them, I try and give them a few days to cook. So I've let it cook, and now we are going to watch it. So let's take a look-see.
Cheer 100 Anamit MBR on YouTube AMMS Love Your Rechats. Best Catherall.
House guest? Are you okay? Are you okay, my guy? Man, Fabiaki. Very possible. And, well, Magnet, we've, depending on, I'm basically doing 3 New Year's celebrations today. I'm doing Newfoundland time, Atlantic time, and Eastern time. So, we've got about 2 hours for Newfoundland before Newfoundland goes, Happy New Year. So, that's where we're at there. So, let's jump into next video.
I've been making YouTube videos for about 3 years now, and this is probably the most requested video ever. Today we're talking about the deadliest sniper of all time, Simo Heiha, aka the White Death. The Finnish have a cultural concept known as sisu, and if you look at it at a glance, it can be easily confused with like tenacity or...
Wait, hang on. Yes, it is, Kaibo. It's a half hour. It's a half hour ahead of Atlantic time zone. Let's see. Sisu, extraordinary determination, courage, and resoluteness in the face of extreme adversity, and action mindset, which enables individuals to reach beyond their present limitations, take action against all odds, and transform barriers and frontiers. An integral element of Finnish culture and also a universal capacity which we all share. Okay. Now, okay. Who remembers the movie that came out recently called Sisu? There was that Finnish movie that came out, what was it, 2-3 years ago? It was basically categorized as essentially John Wick in World War II. Yeah. I saw it too. It is an awesome movie. The main character is a absolute badass. No, Dragon Rider, it was not. This was basically it was basically John Wick versus the Nazis. Essentially. It is a great movie. Absolutely watch it if you can. But yes, it is a fantastic movie. You absolutely should see it if you haven't already.
Grit, but it's more than that. Sisu isn't just your ability to grit your teeth and push through adversity. Sisu is the personality trait that allows somebody to intentionally and stoically allow themselves to be immersed with adversity until they either become immune to it or become the adversity themselves. And in 1939, when a 33-year-old, 5-foot-tall Finnish farmer named Simo found himself on the battlefield defending his...
How tall? Hang on.
Immune to it or become the adversity themselves.
Good night, Grace.
And in 1939, when a 33-year-old, 5-foot-tall Finnish farmer named...
I'm taller than Simo. I'm taller than Simo. I'm taller than a hero. Yeah. Yippee.
named Simo found himself on the battlefield defending his home, outnumbered 100 to 1, surrounded by death on all sides. Rather than succumb to it, he became death itself.
Nicholas, what is this?
That's the new CMMG BR4.
When did you get it?
I've had it.
Nice recovery.
No, I would have remembered something like this.
Okay, fine. I just got it, but I had to because it's the only one they Cerakoted to look like a Busch Light can.
So you got a new toy. What do I get?
I mean, what do you want?
I don't know. I'll do some shopping and I'll let you know. So have fun with the ad.
Mayday! Mayday!
This video is brought to you by Delete Me, okay? Super simple business model. You give them money, they turn around and they make sure that online data brokers are not selling your personal information online. Okay, here's the deal. Pretty much anytime you use a free service on the internet and you click that little box that says, I agree to the terms and conditions, you
actually, I've watched the latest Unsubbed podcast where he talked about that rifle. And was talking about how they were going to be using it in this Delete Me commercial. Yeah, it's like it was a rifle with the paint designed to look like a Bud Light can. It was really cool. It's like the rifle is ridiculous, but that's why you got it.
You're not actually buying anything. You're just buying your way out of all the negative consequences of all the free shit that you've already gotten. And because they continue to monitor those data brokers, you're buying yourself out of all the future negative consequences of all the free shit that you haven't even gotten yet. So if you want to give Delete Me a try, there's going to be a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video.
I know you're a dud. Don't
Alright, Simo Hoya, he was born on December 17th, 1905 and grew up on his family farm, which was right on the border between Finland and Russia. Now, when I say farm, people automatically think of like some dude in a baseball cap and overalls holding a pitchfork with rows and rows of corn in the background. It wasn't one of those kinds of farms. This is what you would call a forest farm, which is a lot more akin to like what we would call a homestead today. Basically, Simo grew up in a cabin in the woods and they had a really big garden and they grew enough food for themselves and then had enough extra to like take it to the farmer's market and sell for money. So Simo essentially grew up his entire life in this harsh, hilly, wooded, snow-covered, freezing environment. This is his baseline, okay? This doesn't suck to him. This is just your normal everyday stuff. Walking.
Why is this already sounding familiar, Tat? Huh? We've heard this story before and we know how it turns out. Who else grew up in the backwoods? And this was just their homestead. And learned basically how to be a woodland badass. Sounding very no, not Audie Murphy, Jose. Yes, Carlos. Granted, it was not in woodlands. It wasn't in like snow-covered area, but Carlos has the same backstory. He grew up in like a very rural wooded area. Like he was in his home growing up was a heavily wooded area, and he spent all of his time out in the woods learning basically scout survival skills, teaching himself. This is starting off very much like Carlos, and we know how good Carlos is.
Uphill every direction through the snow is just a good day to him. And this almost goes without saying, but I'll mention it anyways, that hunting was also a humongous part of how his family put food on the table, and Simo did that from a very young age as well, hunting in this harsh environment. Unfortunately, Simo was pretty intimately acquainted with death at a young age. He had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. One of his brothers passed away in 1918 in the Finnish Civil War, and another one of his brothers passed away after suffering from heat stroke on a construction site. Simo was a member of one of the last generations that didn't have the luxury of quitting, okay? This guy was born, and the minute that he could walk, he was helping his family in their fight for survival. There was no quitting. There was doing or there was dying. And if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, the point I need you to get from this is Simo's a small guy. He's only 5 foot tall. He's 110 pounds, but he literally doesn't know what quitting is. Things that me and you would call horrific circumstances is just a Tuesday to him. It just doesn't even register that he should be having a bad time. He's literally just happy to be alive. At the age of 17, following in his older brother's footsteps, Simo joins the Finnish Civil Guard, which is equivalent to like the American National Guard. Essentially, they train on weekends and they'll train a couple weeks a year, being ready in case they need to be called up by their country. But the rest of the time, he's just going back.
Yeah, he does look young.
As a member of the Civil Guard, he is issued one of the most iconic military.
I mean, who knows? Like, he looks really young. My guess is this is 18. Although it could have been younger. This was like very early 1900s. Who knows? Like, they might have been taking soldiers at the age of 16. Like, I'm not sure. This is either 16 or 18. They were taking them in when they were kids. You know, the armies were taking them in when they were kids.
Cheer 100, my guess.
He's not 100. He's not 100. Imagine you at 16, 5 foot 5 and 95. Really, Eki? Wow, you are skinny. Oh, it's 16. Okay, yeah. And TB Phantom, thank you for the follow. Yeah, okay, yeah, that would be my guess too. 16 would have been my guess also. Yes.
Service rifles of all time, the Mosin Nagant, a bolt-action rifle. He's also issued a small amount of ammunition to train with, but because of budgetary restrictions, they decided it'd be more efficient to just issue all of the Civil Guard members the materials they needed to load their own ammunition. So Simo is also manufacturing his own ammo. During his time in the Civil Guard, he receives awards for his excellent skiing capabilities as well as his physical conditioning. He is not a big man, but the dude is the Energizer Bunny. He can just go forever. In addition to that, he also immediately becomes well known for being an excellent marksman. Before he received any formal shooting training from the military, he entered a regional shooting competition where they had to shoot a target 100 times from 300 meters with iron sights, and he had 93 out of 100 hits. He won a ton of shooting competitions inside of the Finnish military, not just with his Mosin, but also with the Suomi M31 submachine gun. He very quickly qualified for the title of master shooter within the Finnish military, and it is said that he was able to estimate range within the accuracy of 1 meter up to 150 meters away. Okay, that's literally a superhuman ability. You could just point to something off in the distance and Simo could eyeball it and be like, it's like 89 meters away, and he was dead on every single time. And that's not even the scariest part. The scariest part was how fast Simo could operate his Mosin bolt-action rifle. He could fire his Mosin accurately, insanely fast. So fast that they actually wanted to time him one day. So his buddies got a stopwatch and they were going to time to see how many times Simo could hit a target 150 meters away with his bolt-action rifle in the span of 60 seconds. Simo scored 16 hits in the span of 60 seconds with a bolt-action rifle.
He is the one.
And just so we're on the same page.
I was about to say something. I was thinking something serious and saying, and then he throws in the fucking Morpheus clip. They just put my serious thunder in air. Oh shit! No, Dragon Rider. This is not the guy that was hopped up on meth and was like unkillable. No, totally different person. And correct, he's not wrong. That is insanely fast. 16 rounds in 60 seconds? Yeah, like Mosin owners. You are probably the best source of how smooth the action of this is. And bearing in mind, these are Mosins that I'm guessing are newer and more refined in their construction versus early 1900s Mosins. So, hang on. Wait. Oh, Mosin only had 5 rounds and that bolt is clunky in the cold, I'll bet. Is the Mosin clip fed? Or is it magazine fed? I'm guessing it's clip fed. Or is it manually, like, what's the feed action? It is clip fed. Okay, that's what I suspected, it was clip fed. So yeah, he did 16 rounds, which means he fired off 3 full clips on a bolt action, and actually reloaded a 4th in 60 seconds. And I imagine reloading those 5-round stripper clips was no fun. He actually did 3 full clips and got a 4th one in 60 seconds. Smadbull, I may or may not count one in the chamber. I'm not sure how he did it, but it's still fast as fuck to be able to do that.
The Mosin Nagant only holds 5 rounds in the magazine, meaning that Simo shot the first 6 rounds, because there was 1 in the chamber, reloaded, shot the next 5, reloaded again, and shot another 5, hitting the target 150 meters away with fucking iron sights every single time. Okay, if you don't know much about guns, this is the only bolt-action rifle I have, but he had to do something like fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
and bear in mind, when normally, working the action on a bolt-action rifle is going to tweak your sight picture. You you're trying to keep on sight, even if you're aiming down sights the entire time while you are working the action, which is not easy because the bolt action is going right into your face. You have to keep it. He's firing, keeping sight picture, working the bolt action, still maintaining sight picture while working the bolt action with ejecting the spent round and snamming a fresh one home, and pulling the trigger like incredibly fast. And with iron sights at 150 meters. I've fired at targets at 150 meters. I can do target at 150 meters with iron sights. It ain't easy, but it can be done, and he is doing it consistently. He's doing consistent 150 meter hits on a target with a bolt action at high speed. That is fucking impressive.
Reload the gun, and then he did that 2 more times in 60 seconds with 100% accuracy. So Simo is just a natural superhuman level shooter. So this goes on for 2.
Okay, nickname, yes. Military training does 300 meters with irons, but look at the weapon that they're using. Totally different weapon. They're using M16, M4, whichever flavor, depending on which one you got in. So you're not working a bolt action. And the round doesn't have as much kick as the Mosin does. So, yeah, I mean, you could do it with your deer rifle, but it's not quite, okay, so it's not a question of getting steel on target. That's not the question. It's, yes, a lot of, most people can probably do steel on target at 150 meters. It's doing steel on target at high speeds with reloads with a bolt action.
Cheer 100. Let's not forget Simo was using a dogshit Kami rifle with a clunky bolt.
Yes, well that's my point. Is, it's a bolt action, and all you guys are saying the Mosin's bolt action is clunky as hell. So that's the feat, is steel on target, fast, with a 5-round clip strip and a bulky ass bolt action from Mosin. That's the impressive part.
2 years, and then at the age of 19, he ends up joining the Finnish active military because at this point in time, Finland has mandatory service of 15 months. And Simo gets attached to a bicycle battalion, which is, it's
What?
something I honestly can't decide if it's hilarious or terrifying, the image of Simo rolling up to a battlefield on a bicycle. So he serves his 15 months in active duty military, nothing really going on at this point in time. Then he goes back into the Civil Guard and continues being a farmer. And that's pretty much all he's got going on for like the next decade. He's just in the Civil Guard, winning shooting competitions, going back home, taking care of his crops, and going hunting. November 26, 1939, an event known as the Shelling of Manila happens. The real quick, oversimplified version of this is essentially Russia wants to take over.
Getting steel on target. Okay. Getting steel on target consistently, harder. Getting steel on target consistently 16 times in 60 seconds using a Mosin Nagant? Hot damn.
Yes, exactly. Well, Cortana, it's, it's the Wicked Witch of the West Battalion. Imagine a bicycle battalion rolling up to combat with the Wicked Witch of the West music playing from loudspeakers from like a chopper or something. Would that not terrify you? Seeing a whole shitload of people coming up on bikes and you're
over Finland. Finland isn't down with that, so Russia now has to come up with a reason to go to war with Finland. They can't find any legitimate reasons, so they fabricate one. Simply put, this is a false flag event. The Russian military shells near a Russian town near the border with Finland. They then turn around and say, well, actually, Finland is trying to shoot artillery at our town, so we're going to go to war with them. Finland obviously denies shelling the Russian town because, well, they didn't actually do it, and they offer over to Russia like, hey, we're willing to let a third-party independent investigator come in and determine what happened. We did not do this. Russia declines and then invades Finland 4 days later.
Oh no!
Russia sends in 450,000 soldiers to attack Finland. Okay, to put that into perspective, the total population, not the military, the total population of Finland at this point in time is about 4 million people. So 25% of the entire Finnish population is getting sent in with guns to attack Finland. And those 450,000 Soviets are being backed up by the Soviet population of 168 million.
Seems fair.
Calling this a David versus Goliath type situation is putting it mildly. On paper, Finland doesn't stand.
So basically, Russia have always been complete shitters, which is no surprise to anybody. Don't act like I'm surprised by this. It's just Russia has always been a bunch of shitters. They always pull this shit. Is anyone surprised? Must be Tuesday, right?
Calling this a David versus Goliath type situation is putting it mildly. On paper, Finland doesn't stand a chance. But Finland does have a couple of things going for it because in the years leading up to this, Stalin conducted the Great Purge, essentially killing off all of his high-ranking and knowledgeable military leadership because he was worried that they were going to try to overthrow him. So by and large, the Soviet military at this point in time is pretty incompetent. And the Finnish, well, they're Finnish. They've got that going for them, okay? If you've read enough history, you know there's a couple of quick life hacks if you want to live a long, happy life, you know, like don't smoke, eat a good diet, never try to fight the Filipinos in the jungle, and never try to fight the Finnish people in the snow. It's just a bad
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Now, for Simo at this point in time, he had just last year in 1938 gotten formal sniper training from the Finnish military. Not that he really needed it, but he does have that title now. And when the Russians attacked, Simo was actually out in the field doing a training mission with the Civil Guard, so he didn't find out the Russians attacked until the day after when he was immediately activated and put into duty. So he gets orders, reports to the front line, and his new company commander is a man by the name of Arne Utilainen, aka the Terror of Morocco. And this man, much like Simo, is a complete and absolute gangster, but instead of being a sniper like Simo is, he's a leader. He's leading men into battle that are going in heavily outnumbered. We're talking like 100 guys versus 5,000 men on the.
Okay, we're getting one of these guys as his. Okay, remember yesterday I was talking about how, you know, these absolute badasses that Nick talks about that, you know, they are constantly trying to get hamstrung by the brass who will not let them be their badass selves. We now have a story of an absolute badass who in his first activation unit has got a badass commanding officer. And only good things can come from this. How quickly is he going to let Simo off the chain?
Kola front where they're fighting. So Utilainen's signature move, embracing Sisu and having no fear, would go out on the front lines in the middle of battle and sit in a rocking chair with gunfire and explosions going off, giving orders to his men to show them that they didn't have anything to fear. And Simo is now taking orders from this.
Okay, I know I'm pausing a lot here. The level of tungsten steel balls on that man is fucking impressive. This is a man literally telling the enemy and death itself, kindly go and fuck yourself. I'm gonna be busy chilling out here smoking a pipe and telling my guys how to fuck you up. Cortana, I don't care if it's ballsy or insane, it's bad fucking ass, whatever it is. This is an absolutely based leader. This is one of those leaders that they will, as I've said before, will follow into hell just so they can walk up to Satan, smack him in the face and go, "What you got, bitch?"
This guy, okay, shit's about to get real. So Simo shows up, they start digging trenches, laying out barbed wire, setting the front line. They end up fighting their asses off for 2 days straight. After that, they actually end up receiving orders to fall back a little bit, which they do. That becomes like Utalainen's thing. Like, we're not retreating unless we receive orders. We are going to stand here and fight till the bitter end unless ordered to do otherwise by our superiors. So they fall back, and Utalainen knows that Simo is like from this area. Like, his farm is right down the road. He knows the area. He knows the terrain. So he grabs Simo and he's like, hey, I need you to sneak behind enemy lines and start cutting all the telephone wires. To which Simo replies, and I quote, I'll try my best. And Simo's best is absolutely enough. He sneaks behind enemy lines. He's cutting all the telephone wires, just wreaking havoc behind enemy lines. He ends up making it back completely unscathed, at which point Utalainen is like, okay, this dude's super sneaky. He knows the terrain. I'm just gonna make him like my go-to sniper for all my shit. Shortly after this, on the Kola front, where Utalainen is in charge, there is a Soviet sniper that keeps taking out platoon leaders, okay? They're specifically targeting his officers, his best guys. Utalainen cannot have this happen. He turns to Simo, basically says, go get him. So that next morning, before the sun comes...
Yes! Yes! He cut Simo off the chain. And bearing in mind, this is his first activation. Simo is still... This is the crazy part. He's not grizzled. He's not, like, fully combat experienced yet. He might still have that little bit of... farm boy, he's not a veteran yet. This is his first activation. And this is going to be, let me introduce myself in the worst way possible to the enemy for them.
And he turns to Simo, basically says, go get him. So that next morning before the sun comes up, Simo goes, has a big breakfast, and then takes off. He goes to the general area where this sniper's been operating, and he inserts himself.
Cheer 100. I think I know what happened. I am sure he did well, all because he slept at a Holiday Inn Express the night before.
In, and he builds a little snow berm, and he packs the snow down really tight, and then he pours water all over it so that it freezes into this ice wall, and this becomes one of his signature tactics. And this is brilliant because Simo is planning ahead for failure. He is planning on missing his first shot. He never does, but it never hurts to be ready for the worst possible outcome. You see, because Simo already knows, growing up in this environment and hunting his whole life, that the first time you fire that bullet, snow is going to kick up all around you into a giant cloud, and if the other enemy sniper doesn't know where you are, they're gonna know now. So Simo, thinking 10 steps ahead, goes and eliminates the snow factor. He turns all the snow around him into ice so that there's nothing to kick up at all.
That is smart. And I don't think this was anything that he was taught either. Yeah, like, okay, this is, we're seeing already the tactical mind that Simo has got. Because, yeah, this is something I seriously doubt that they would have taught him. This is something he just knew instinctively from living out in this environment. Yeah, he learned it from hunting on his land. And the tactics are better than anything that the military could teach him. And we're only getting started. So, this is gonna be good.
At all. And then he just lays there still all day long, not moving. He's constantly putting ice and snow into his mouth so that his breath doesn't create fog, so that there's no way of possibly seeing this guy. And he waits all day long, and soon enough, the sun starts going down. And as the sun is going down behind Simo, he ends up catching a glint off the enemy sniper's scope, but he's not in a hurry, so he waits. So now he knows where the enemy sniper is, but he's patient, and he just keeps waiting, and he keeps waiting, and the sun keeps going further and further down, and it's getting darker and darker, and soon we're at the point where there's gonna be nothing but starlight in 15 minutes. And at that point, the Soviet sniper just stands the fuck up out of nowhere, like it was the bell just rang, and it's lunchtime at the factory. He just gets up because his shift is over, and he starts walking back to camp, and Simo drops
night.
him one shot straight to the head.
What an idiot!
So Simo reports back to Yukalainen, hey, solved the problem, no issue. It's been like 18 hours and Simo's already got this guy down, and this guy's been wreaking havoc on his men for like a week and a half. So Simo is obviously super legit, at which point Yukalainen basically just lets him off the leash. Like, hey, whatever you're doing, just fucking keep doing it. Go win. And this is what Simo does every single day. He goes out, he builds his ice berm into a couple of different locations that he has already set up, and he is just picking off Russians left and right. And unlike other snipers at the time that were trying to prioritize high-value targets like officers, Simo absolutely was not, which makes sense because his family farm is right down the road. Like, his family, his friends, where he grew up is literally under attack right now. If you were wearing a Russian uniform and he saw you, you were a dead man. Simo got asked about this later in life, and he replied, and I quote, I shot when I saw the enemy. I didn't care if they were a leader. Simo is literally treating the front line like it is a shooting gallery at the state fair. There are multiple days where he is logging between 10 and 20 confirmed kills. So,
and by the way, what he's doing by not shooting the leadership is probably more demoralizing for the enemy force than going strictly for the leadership. Because if you think about it, if he's shooting literally anything in a Russian uniform, that means no one is safe. Not like the Russian soldiers performing this invasion. Every single one of them knows it doesn't matter if you're an officer or enlisted. You are a target. That would be fucking terrifying. Because, you know, if they were just if he was just targeting officers, like the Russian sniper was, the regular enlisted would be like, okay, we've lost our officer, but they're only targeting the officers. We're probably gonna be fine. They're just trying to demoralize us. And yeah, they would kind of just be like a little bit scattered, not knowing what to do, but they wouldn't have to worry about this sniper coming out of nowhere and just doming them. Simo has taken out everyone. And so every single Russian soldier, enlisted or officer, is all saying, I could be next. Can you imagine the level of psychological warfare that would be impacting the Russian troops? Because they know no one is safe. Every single one of them is a target that could drop at any moment. Not only is he just a badass sniper, he's also delivering psychological warfare. And Tippy, thank you for the follow.
Russian soldier 3, Russian soldier 4, Russian officer 10.
Yeah, basically.
At this point, Simo starts to get a ton of notoriety within the Finnish military, and it gets to the point where whenever there's a problem, it doesn't matter if it's a forward observer that's shooting accurate artillery, it doesn't matter if it's an enemy sniper, anywhere on the front line, they would send for Simo, and they would pick him up, escort him to that part of the front line, and he would go handle the problem. And the best part about this is you gotta remember, this is Finland in December in 1935, so when they send for Simo, they're sending a reindeer-guided fucking sleigh to pick him up and escort him to wherever there's a problem, and he's gonna go out and solve it. He's like the shitty inverse of Santa Claus, except instead of leaving a lump of coal in your stocking, he's gonna put a piece of lead in your fucking forehead.
No witnesses?
I bet you're right. It's fucking accurate. And Grand Paradox, thank you for the follow. Are we related? Are you my mummy?
So around this point, Simo starts to gain notoriety with the Soviets, and they start calling him Belia Smrt, aka the White Death. The Soviet government puts a huge bounty on Simo's head. They're sending in counter-sniper teams to take out the White Death, and every single time Simo kills all of them. They never stood a chance. The man can shoot 16 rounds a minute accurately out of his Mosin. He's wearing white camouflage in the snow. He's turned all the snow around him into ice, so there's no kicking up snow. You can't see his breath. He doesn't have a scope to catch a glint of. He's literally eliminated luck from the scenario. He is a complete ghost.
No, Big Worth, I did not hit you with it. I hit Grand Paradox with it.
and he's just wiping the floor with the entire Soviet military. So eventually the Soviets are like, okay, we're just gonna quit fucking with this guy. We're gonna quit sending men into that area of operation where we know the White Death is, and we're just gonna focus on other areas. And Simo takes this as his opportunity to go play offense. So he goes to Utalainen and is like, hey, give me a squad of guys. I'm gonna lead them into battle. We're gonna go behind enemy lines and we're gonna take the fight to them. So Simo starts leading a squad past enemy lines at dusk every night, and they would literally ski miles and miles behind enemy lines where the Soviets think they're safe. And back there, they just have these massive bonfires that they're all sitting around eating dinner, drinking, smoking, having a good time at the end of the day. And Simo and his men would ski to within like 100 meters of them, dismount, and low crawl till they were right up on top of them. And then Simo and his men would pop up with submachine guns, mow down all the Russians, and then steal all their equipment, all their guns, all their ammo, all their food, and fucking bounce back to the front line.
Oh, fuck, they were spawn camping. Oh, that's fucking beautiful. They were basically spawn camping. I love it. Yeah, Bigglesworth, including their lives. It's not just nice things, although having your life is nice. True, it's strategically transferring equipment to an alternate location, even if the equipment happens to be the enemy's brains.
Okay, it's literally guerrilla warfare on ice. It's absolutely terrifying. And you gotta realize, this is all within the span of like a month. By December 25th, 1935, Simo already had over 100 confirmed kills, and his record was 25 men in a single day. So the Soviets doubled. They tripled their efforts trying to take out the White Death. They start sending in counter sniper teams with forward observers with them, and then as soon as Simo shoots one of them, they start just calling in artillery in the general area that Simo's in, but they never ever hit him. Whether it's luck or divine intervention or just fate, Simo makes it away every single time. And the best part is
I'm gonna say it's more than just luck or divine fate, because he actually, he took measures to keep his position hidden. So yeah, they're like, with the observers, like, they'll start launching shells in the general direction, but there is some luck involved?
Cheer 100 as we delve into the legend of Simo Häyhä. I recommend you learn more about Larry Allen Thorne, the only German, Finnish by birth, soldier buried in Arlington Military Cemetery.
Maybe another time. But he's actually taking, measures to prevent his position from being discovered. Yeah, there is some luck involved. They're just blanketing the area, certainly. Like, I 100% get that. But he's also doing the smart thing so they cannot get a beat on him. So they're just kind of just lobbing shells, hoping to hit him. So let's definitely give Simo credit there of his tactics to prevent this kind of thing from happening.
Single time they try to do this tactic, the odds of them actually accomplishing their goal gets less and less, because every time they're sending in their best guys and Simo's killing them. So the quality of the men that Simo's going up against is constantly deteriorating. By January of 1940, Simo is an absolute legend with over 200 confirmed kills, 51 of which he got in 3 days. One of his other records at this point in time was...
Sorry, I yelled over what he just said. Hang on.
51 of which he got in 3 days.
51 kills in 3 days. Holy fuck. Yeah. He's just... He is. He's just making stacks at this point. Fucking... Yeah, and yes, confirmed. How many are unconfirmed?
Russia. Everyone knows not to invade Russia during winter. Winter is our home turf. Finland/Simo. Hold my aquavit. And take a swig if you live long enough.
I do not know what aquavit is. but genetically, I will trust that it is a very Finnish beverage.
One of his other records at this point in time was he managed to take out 5 enemy snipers in a single day. Because of everything Simo's accomplished around the same point in time, Utalainen's boss, the general in charge of that entire front, pulls Simo back and they have a ceremony where they award him with an honorary rifle. It's also a Mosin just like his, but it's, you know, very nice, decorative one, and they award it to him. And you have to realize at this point in time, Simo is very, very important to the Finnish war effort. Not only is he out there just being a one-man army, wrecking house, taking it to the Soviets, but he's also huge for the morale of the entire Finnish military. Like, he is the hero that everybody's looking to, like, this guy's on our side, we might be able to win this. He is such a big deal that the general's wife knits him a pair of wool mittens, okay? It sounds like just like a nice pleasantry, but do you know how fucking gangster you have to be for the general's wife to feel motivated to knit you in particular a pair of mittens? Okay, that means the general is going...
Torito, yeah, look at him! He's so happy! Like, he still looks innocent in this picture. And presumably this is after he'd been awarded the rifle, so he'd taken out 200 fucking people. And he looks happy. Oh, God.
Motivated to knit you in particular a pair of mittens. Okay, that means the general is going home every night telling his wife, like, sweetheart, the White Death is the shit. He's the key to winning this war. He's everything right now. And the wife is like, oh shit, I better do something nice for this guy because he's literally gonna save the whole country by himself. So Simo gets his ceremonial rifle, gets his wool mittens. He's also awarded a pocket watch, which at this point in time is a huge deal to have a watch. So he gets all that. And usually at this point in time, you know, bigger, more powerful countries like America would pull you back and use you for war bonds, parade you around the country, but they send Simo right back into action because they can't afford to not have him on the front lines. So Simo gets right back.
And get this, the Finnish created the Molotov cocktails during this conflict, and they did it as an insult to Russia. Cheer 100.
I can just imagine them taking, like, stolen bottles of vodka from these raids and Molotoving them with their own vodka. That would be a glorious insult to them.
To work. He's playing cat and mouse with the Russians. Whenever they want to send men in, Simo picks them off. Whenever they don't want to send men in, Simo skis in with a squad, mows them down at their campfire. And this goes on for months. Simo just straight up farming the Russians for XP. And by March of 1940, the Russians grew impatient and they launch a major attack. And Simo said that the Russians just kept coming, just wave after wave, just meat wall tactics of, I'm gonna march my men into your gunfire until you run out of bullets and hopefully I've got more men. And during this time, Simo's not up hiding at his ice wall with his Mosin. There's too many Russians for that. He's on the front line leading a squad of infantry with his submachine gun, absolutely taking the fight to the Russians. Simo had actually said that he had heard rumors that the Soviets were using the machine guns on their tanks to basically force the men to march into gunfire, and if they wouldn't go, they would mow them down with the tank. And after seeing how many men were just coming straight at their lines, getting mowed down, Simo believed it. During this time, Simo set his all-time record for killing 40 men in a single day.
Wait, okay, it's 40 men. Who is it that said 50? Yeah. Yeah, Big Dog, I guess it's 40, not 50. And, Happy New Year, Diabetes. Yeah, it was 50 and, yeah, it was like 51 in 3 days. In this day, on this day, he did 40. Nick was saying that on this day, Simo took out 40 on this day.
Time record for killing 40 men in a single day. Simo continues to lead his squad in the battle until on March 6th at 2 p.m. when he feels what he describes as a suppressed bang inside of his mouth. He then said that he immediately felt his mouth was full of bone fragments and blood before losing consciousness. Simo
What?
doesn't know this yet, but he has just been shot in the face with an exploding bullet, which has actually been a war crime
God.
since the 1800s. But, you know, hey, so is launching a false flag event to invade. Been a war crime since the 1800s, but, you know, hey, so is launching a false flag event to invade Finland to begin with, so why stop at one? Simo is then scooped off the front lines and taken back to an aid station where he is triaged. Triage is the act of medics basically sorting out all of their patients to, you know, the people that need to make it to the hospital right now on the next truck to have a chance at surviving, the people that can, you know, lay here for a couple of hours and they'll probably be fine, walking wounded, and the final category, expectant, which basically means they're dead or they're going to die before they make it to the hospital, and we're not going to waste the space on the next truck. He is literally thrown into a pile of other dead Finnish soldiers. We don't know.
God. Fuck. I know the triage is a thing in war. I know I know the triage is a thing in war. And I know you have to prioritize in war. But god damn it. Like, well, no, he's not dead because Mick said that Simo said it's what he felt a suppressed bang. Obviously, Simo had to survive to say that. But, Jesus. Like, just getting thrown onto a pile of bodies because they're like, he's not gonna make it. God damn it. It's heartbreaking. I know, Tornado, I know.
How much time passes, but eventually somebody ends up seeing Simo's foot moving in this, what is now a mass grave. They then end up getting Simo out, they get him to the hospital, and he is in a coma for the next 7 days. He then wakes up in the hospital on March 13th, 1940, the very same day the Soviets sign a peace treaty with Finland, effectively ending the Winter War. Coincidence? I think not.
You're supposed to be dead!
Okay, now obviously I'm being facetious, but for real, there's a greater than a 0% chance that the Russian military got a memo like, hey, we thought we killed the White Death, we were wrong, he just woke up, and the Soviet Union is like, fuck this, I'm out. The Finns have...
Yeah, it's more like, we shot the White Death, we killed him. He didn't die.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Have the Terminator on their team. There's no other explanation. The dude has to be hacking, okay? He's got over 500 confirmed kills at this point by running around in the hills, no-scoping people, and then we shoot him in the face and he still doesn't die. Not only that...
Yeah, how the fuck did he get God mode? Who the fuck gave this guy access to the God mode? I mean, seriously, he's getting God mode, he's got the aimbot on. Fuck this, rage quit. We're fucking rage quitting. Screw this, I'm not playing with a cheater.
It was an exploding bullet, literally a war crime because it's so deadly, and the dude just takes a 7-day nap about it and now he's going back into combat. No, we're done. Sign the armistice. Winter War's over. We've had enough.
Oh, Jesus! Oh my god! Hang on, I'll move. Oh my god! Oh my goodness. Wow. He lost the entire left side of his jaw. Oh god. Oh, that's... Yeah, more than a mark, we'll see. Oh, Jesus.
Now, the war ending is actually great news for Simo because now the hospitals aren't constantly under the threat of getting overrun by Soviets or getting hit with artillery, so they're going to actually be able to get him the surgeries and care that he needs to make the best recovery humanly possible. He spends the next 14 months in the hospital where he undergoes 26 reconstructive surgeries on his face and jaw. After those surgeries, Simo makes a pretty good recovery. He gets released from the hospital. He is released from...
Now, and look at what it did. God. Like, this picture doesn't look real. It doesn't even look real. But I know it is. Yeah. Yeah, and it was after the surgeries. Oh, God. Oh, God, that looks so bad. But he's alive. He's alive. And that's what matters. He survived. He survived so he could be a living hero. I know he lived. I know, but that's what I'm saying. He survived, and he's a living hero. And despite what people might say, a living hero is better than a dead hero.
From his military duties, and unfortunately part of the armistice between the USSR and Finland is that some of the lands that Finland had got relinquished over to the USSR, including Simo's farm. So the Finnish government actually gives Simo a new farm with a house roughly the same size, same type terrain, as close as he could get back to his old home, and from there he just goes back to doing what he was doing before. He's farming, he's hunting.
Wait.
Relinquished over to the USSR, including Simo's farm. So the Finnish—
No! He lost his home. He lost his home. He went through all that. It lost his home. They should have negotiated. He really let him keep his home. They could have negotiated to let him keep his home. They could have fought for that. They could have. Damn it. Damn it. Went through all that. They lost his home.
Cheer 100. He lost his farm, but kept his life and kept his country.
I know it hurts. And it still hurt that he went through all that and he still lost his home. Shit. Damn it. Shit. Oh, God. I just want him to go on a fucking rampage and take his own back right now. I want him to John Wick this shit. Like you saw what happened when you invade my country. I'm gonna show you what happens when you take my home away from me. Fuck. Oh, God. I know he's right. I know. It's still just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking that he fought and sacrificed so much and he still lost his home. And that kills me. That's what just fucking kills me. Okay. Oh. Okay. Whew. Okay. Let's. I paused it and had to back it up because I talked over it, but I heard the part where Nick said like they gave him land very similar to his old one. So
the Finnish government actually gives Simo a new farm with a house roughly the same size, same type terrain, as close as he could get back to his old home. And from there, he just goes back to doing what he was doing before. He's farming, he's hunting, he's walking around in the woods by himself. He just goes back to doing his thing. For his service, he was awarded the 1st and 2nd class Medals of Liberty, the 3rd and 4th class Crosses of Liberty, and in 1941, he was nominated for the Mannerheim Cross, which is the Finnish equivalent of the American Medal of Honor. But unfortunately, that medal didn't actually get conceived until 1941, which is after Simo's service, so a lot of the paper pushers inside the Finnish government denied him getting the Mannerheim Cross because I guess his service was before that award existed.
Fuck you. Fuck you to those goddamn assholes. After what he did, you're not gonna get him. The goddamn fucking little Fuck it, they keep hitting him. Fuck. Damn it. They just keep hitting him. Fucking hell. God damn it. Making that so much and he just keeps getting hit, but these people don't give a fuck. God damn it. I know he probably didn't like take offense or anything like that. He just wants to just relax and live his life, but god damn it, pisses me off so much. God damn it, does it piss me off? Fuck.
Cheer 100. It should be mandatory. You must be a service member or a responder to run for political office.
God. No, I did not think I was gonna cry like this today. I was not expecting to cry like this today. God.
So that wouldn't make sense, so he never actually got the Mannerheim Cross, but the man deserved it 1,000%. The final stats for his short time in combat were 542 confirmed kills, 249 of which were from his Mosin Nagant with nothing but iron sights, and the rest were from his submachine gun. Now, these stats have been criticized by both, historians in academia and internet comment sections today, aka a bunch of people that weren't actually—
Fuck the internet comment sections. Okay? I do not give a fuck what some basement dweller on Reddit has to say. Alright? I do not give a fuck. Let me just make that really goddamn fucking clear right now. If you just live your life on a fucking internet comment boards, no. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. No.
fucking there, but these stats are validated by both his company commander and his company chaplain, the people that were there. And if that wasn't enough, which it should be, but just in case you think it's not, in 2017, well after his passing, his nephew stumbled across Simo's personal memoirs that he had never published, never let anyone else see, that he had written down for himself. And in his personal writings, again, to himself, that he never tried to get published, that he would have absolutely no reason to lie on, he says that he killed well over 500 men. But ultimately, Simo didn't, and probably wouldn't to this day if he was still around, care what you thought, because he wasn't doing it because he wanted the glory. He just went back to farming. He led a humble life. He didn't want to be known as the White Death. He just wanted to be left alone. That was his
and that's what killed me about all of it. About losing his farm, about getting the recognition of the Finnish version of the Medal of Honor, like he should have. I know it didn't bother him. He wasn't in it for accolades or the glory. The man was humble and just wanted to live a quiet life. And that's what makes it so heartbreaking.
happily ever after, just living on a farm, doing his own thing, and that's exactly what he got. Okay, worth noting, he passed away in 2002 at the age of 96. The Soviet Union fell in 1991, okay? Simo Hoya took the fight to the enemy to a degree that no other singular human ever has in the history of the world, and then he gets shot in the face with an exploding bullet. Again, a literal war crime, shrugs it off, and then proceeds to live longer than the country that he went to war with. That's gangster as fuck. And that is the story of Simo Heha, the White Death, the farmer's son that rose to the occasion, defended his country against all odds, showing the enemy the true meaning of Sisu. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Bang, out. The real moral of the story here is you should probably just be nice to everybody, because that little 5-foot guy at the grocery store might be the biggest badass of all time.
Yeah. I love that. That was beautiful. Yeah. That was an absolute epic story.
Cheer 100. Now I know why Amo got second place in that one newspaper competition he entered.
Well, that was incredible. That was incredible.